Hi there, I'm Rachel Rossano from Let Health Flow. Welcome to the Quantum Sessions, where we will be discussing energy and how we use it in our clinic. I'm an energy specialist working with many different forms of energy, including biofeedback, color therapy, Reiki, and pulsed electromagnetic fields. Now, today I'm discussing the energetic world that we live in and how synthetic frequencies from technology affect us. In episode 2 last week, or the week before, I went over natural frequencies, energy that radiates out from natural sources, such as living beings and nature. And how do we interact with them? Kind of like the feeling that you get instantly from, walking into a live concert, that elevated collective energy, that ecstasy, the euphoria that permeates the area. It influences and interacts with your energy. It either resonates or it doesn't. So that's what I talked about last week. But I think you can easily agree that absolutely not all energy is equal. The variance of frequency waves differs in really radical ways, and we're going to look at some of that. Now, synthetic frequencies, which we're talking about today, they're human-made frequencies. They stem from really our technology and our electricity, and they can be referred to as EMFs or electromagnetic fields, or even as radiation. So I'm going to screen share here for a second. Where's the screen? There it is. Share. And so this is the electromagnetic spectrum. There's high and low frequencies. There's ionizing versus non-ionizing. It gets really specific. But for today, what you can look at here is you'll see that most of the frequencies on here are represented by synthetic sources. So power lines, electronics, cell phones, x-rays, etc. It just really gives a perspective on the soup of synthetic frequencies that we're exposed to on this planet. On the spot right now, I'm sure right now you could take out your cell phone, turn it on, and have a look at how many Wi-Fi and Bluetooth signals are coursing around you from within your house, but also from within your neighbors and around your neighborhood. You'll likely see, 15 or 5 to 15 different signals that are within your range. And sometimes it goes up even more when you're out of your house. So as we discussed, not only does energy radiate out from screens, electrical sockets, lamps, wireless phones, etc., but also from your appliances and anything that's electrical, anything in your home. Now, we're also confronted with even more once we kind of step out of our home, also within our home, but to think of it as stepping out of our home with radio waves, with cell phone towers. There's geopathic energy and stress that comes from these power lines or disturbed water flow and much more. There's a lot of different sources. Just change the screen here. So here's some frequency ranges. These are some different synthetic frequencies. It's a very broad range, but some of the commonly used items, like cell phones, they range from 2 billion hertz and up to 86 billion hertz from some 5G networks. That's a lot of O's, a lot of zeros behind a number. Now, as we learned last week, our human bodies resonate healthily with 7.83 hertz. So a question to you: if we're exposed over and over to 2 billion hertz, what do you think the effect would be on our body? Will our bodies resonate healthily? Will they hit that calm healing point that's meant to be hit via the Schumann resonance that we talked about last week from the Earth's natural frequency range? Now, in my opinion, as well as other scientists, we are deficient of this 7.83 hertz resonance. We're excessively depleted with these synthetic frequencies, sometimes referred to as electrosmog. And here's a little picture of, what that kind of looks like realistically inside our homes. What's most important is that we must look at the body as it is designed in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. This is us at our core. It's inarguable at this point. So this difference between the synthetic frequency, let's say 2 billion hertz from a cell phone, and the human body frequency that resonates at 7.83 hertz, it causes an imbalanced effect on the human cells, and this causes disharmony in your body. So the vibration of all synthetic frequencies is not in coherence with that of the human body. This can be referred to as having imbalanced energy fields. Okay, so what it's referring to really is the magnetic zero point in the human cells being moved farther away from the center of by the magnetic point of the synthetic frequency field. Get more scientific there, but this is called dissonance. It's the opposite of resonance. And resonance is a vibrational match between the energy fields that elevates the frequency in a healthy way. Dissonance is inharmonious. It lacks consistency. It's a conflict. There's incongruity. It's incoherent. It's not a good state to thrive in at all. Our bodies are definitely powerful and they can restabilize themselves in the right situations. But when the energy is affected over and over consistently or in pulsing waves, this dissonance cascades outwards. So for most people, this is on a very subtle level that isn't felt. We discussed that last week as well with natural frequencies. But in particular for these synthetic frequencies, since your senses aren't necessarily triggered with this energetic interaction, like the same way they would be with ionizing radiation, let's say. The sun lets you know with heat, right? With the heat of the energy that it's a warning signal. That doesn't necessarily happen with 2 billion hertz. There's no warning. It doesn't mean it's not doing anything harmful to over time. Now, Dr. Ollie Johannesson has measured that we have 1 quintillion times, that's 18 zeros, more radiation passing through our body today than before in the age of mobile phones. So while our bodies have and continue to slowly evolve to adapt to this energetic surge, it still remains as a poison toxin in our current existence. Just going to stop the share there. So really key note, it still remains as a toxic poison in our current existence. I really want to note that on this particular subject, on the effects of this frequency spectrum, this is very heavily debated, okay? I want to make a note that there is disagreement out there in the scientific community over EMF safety, and it's simply because there has been no substantial investment put into strong research suggesting that EMFs harm human health. That said, knowing how we're made of energy, knowing how natural frequencies affect us, in my opinion, and many others, it is completely illogical and irrational, actually, to stand by the notion that synthetic frequencies in a much higher range than our biological range have no effect on us. Now, the question is, why am I discussing this? I think maybe the more opportunistic question would be, why wouldn't we? Why wouldn't we be discussing this? We need enlightenment about how these energetic cocktails that we live in, while invisible, can have dramatic effects on us as living energetic beings. So what can you do on your own? Limit your exposure. Limit that in the areas that you can control. So screen time, laptops, cell phones, Wi-Fi. Reach for protective and replenishing tools to help assist you during those times and after that you're interacting with these devices. Now, in our clinic here at Let Health Flow, we foundationally start at the energetic level. We seek, kind of hone in on this. We're constantly arming ourselves with knowledge and energetic medical devices that work to support the natural frequencies the best we can. We're looking to replenish them. We're always looking for ways to unravel these depleting effects. And like I said, replenish them with coherent efforts and really to educate and help with protection and overall awareness. So if you check out our post that this is posted on, there's ways to contact us if you have any questions or if you'd like to book an energy session with myself. As I've mentioned, due to the quantum physics of it, this work that I do in energy can be done at a distance as well as in person. So it doesn't matter where you are in the world, we can work together. Stay tuned for the next episode of the Quantum Session, where we'll explore brainwaves a little further to understand how they powerfully interact with our entire physiology. Until next time, keep flowing with the energy of yourself and your life. Thank you.